The night sky split open like paper under fire. A roar echoed across the forested hills behind the small town of Renlo. Everyone heard it, but only one person saw where it landed. Rain was already awake when the sky screamed. He stood barefoot, on his porch, sipping warm tea, staring at the streak of fire as it cut through the dark. It vanished behind the tall trees, and then, boom! A soft, distant impact shook the earth. Most people would have stayed inside. Rayan wasn't most people. He grabbed his old coat, slung his bag over one shoulder, and walked straight toward the smoke. His boots crunched through wet leaves and moss. The forest was quiet, like it was holding its breath. He followed the glow, step by step, heart beating fast. He wasn't afraid. He was curious. He found the crash site after nearly half an hour. A smooth, silver pod had dug a trail through the ground, stopping against a fallen tree. It wasn't burning, just steaming. Strange blue lights pulsed around it, like veins alive under metal skin. He didn't know what to say. He just stood there, amazed. Then the pod opened. A hiss of air escaped as the door split down the center. It peeled back like a flower, revealing something. No, someone inside. She stepped out slowly, her tall frame lit by the soft lights behind her. She wasn't wearing armor, but her skin shimmered like fine silk. Her body was slender, her legs long and graceful, and her eyes, large, glowing with pale lavender light, locked onto Rayan. "Are you injured?" he asked without thinking. She tilted her head, her voice a low melody. "You are not my enemy." "No," he said. "I don't even know who you are." She took a step closer. The ground steamed around her bare feet, her lips curled into something like a smirk. "Then this is a lucky planet." Rayan couldn't help but stare. She looked almost human, but everything about her shimmered with quiet power. Her skin had a soft golden tone. Her hair was like liquid moonlight flowing past her shoulders. "What are you?" he asked. "I am Valari," she said simply, "from the world of Telis, and I am very far from home." He nodded slowly. "You crash-landed." "I did not intend to come here. My ship was attacked. I had to escape." Rayan looked around. "Is anyone chasing you?" She shook her head. "Not yet, but they might." He felt a strange warmth spread in his chest. Something about her made him want to protect her. "Come with me," he said. "I live nearby. You'll be safer there." Valari looked at him for a long moment, her glowing eyes unreadable. Then she stepped forward, close enough that he could feel the heat of her skin. "You would shelter an alien human? You look like you need it," he said, then added with a smile. "And I don't think I could stop you if you changed your mind." Her eyes sparkled. "You are braver than you look. And you're more beautiful than I expected." She blinked, then laughed softly. It was a strange, delicate sound, like crystal wind chimes. "Flattery? Already?" He grinned. "Just being honest." Valari walked beside him through the forest, quiet but observant. She studied the trees, the sky, the sounds of distant animals. Her body moved like a dancer, light and confident. Rain couldn't help but glance at her now and then. The curve of her hips, the way her silver garment clung to her, the strange glow of her skin in the moonlight. It all felt like a dream. At last, they reached his small cabin near the hill's edge. It was simple. One room, a fireplace, a few chairs, and a soft bed tucked near the wall. Valari looked around with curious eyes. "You live alone?" Rayan nodded. "Too noisy in town. I like the quiet out here." She walked to his bookshelf and touched one of the spines. "Your world is peaceful, for now." He handed her a blanket. "You can sleep in the bed. I'll take the chair." She tilted her head. Why would you offer your comfort to a stranger? Because I've seen what fear looks like. You're tired. You need rest. It's that simple. Valari slowly sat down on the edge of the bed. You are strange, human. Not many would be this kind. Name's Rayan, he said. She smiled again, softer this time. Rayan, you may call me Valari, and tonight I will sleep here. But tomorrow I must decide what to do next. Rayan nodded. He sat by the fireplace and stared into the flames, but he could feel her eyes on him. Even in silence, the connection between them grew, like two threads slowly tangling in the dark. When the fire dimmed and the wind whispered outside, Valari's voice reached him again, soft as a sigh. What's between my legs? She said. Suddenly, her voice half teasing, half serious. Isn't a weapon, unless you make it one, human. Rain turned to look at her, stunned by her boldness. She didn't laugh. She just held his gaze, waiting for something. He swallowed. I'm not here to hurt you. I know, she said softly. That's what makes you dangerous. In a different way. The fire crackled between them, warm and alive, and the night held its breath again. The morning sun poured gently through the wooden slats of the cabin. Birds chirped in the distance, unaware that an alien guest had spent the night beneath their skies. Rayan stretched in the old chair, rubbing his neck. The fire had gone out sometime before dawn, but the room was still warm. He turned his head slowly toward the bed. Valari was already awake. She sat cross-legged on the blanket, her silvery garment slipping slightly off one shoulder, exposing more of her radiant skin. She was watching him with those glowing lavender eyes, silent and thoughtful. You barely moved all night, she said softly. I didn't want to wake you, Rayan replied. A tiny smile touched her lips. You're strange. On Tellus, when someone offers shelter, it's only because they want something. Well, he said with a crooked grin, we humans can be strange too. I offered shelter because you looked like you needed it. That's all. Valari studied him, her expression unreadable. Then she slid off the bed with effortless grace and stepped toward the window, pushing the curtain aside. Her fingers were long and elegant, her movements calm. Your world smells green, she said quietly. Alive. On my planet, everything is colder, cleaner, but distant. Here I can feel the dirt, the warmth of breath. It's intimate. Rain stood up and walked to the table. Do you eat what we eat? I have bread, eggs too. She turned slightly, the morning light glowing around her like a halo. I can eat some human food, but I don't need much. I absorb energy, from light, from air, from touch. Touch? He repeated, curious. She nodded. We exchange energy through skin. It's part of who we are. Rain paused, looking at her hands, her arms, her smooth neck. He imagined what her skin would feel like against his. Warm. Electric. Valari seemed to read his thoughts because she stepped toward him slowly. Would you like to try? His throat tightened. What do you mean? She reached out and gently placed her hand over his. Her touch wasn't hot, but it wasn't cold either. It was soft. Glowing warmth spread up his arm like sunlight. Rain gasped quietly. That's different. Valari's eyes searched his. You're not afraid of me? No, he whispered. You feel like peace. A long silence filled the space. Between them, neither moved, neither broke eye contact. Their hands remained joined, and in that stillness something deep bloomed. Then Valari pulled away gently. You have a kind heart, Rain. That's dangerous. Dangerous? He asked, with a chuckle. I thought kindness was supposed to be a good thing. To me, she said, stepping back toward the window, it is both a comfort and a weakness. Where I come from, emotions are controlled, tamed. We do not speak of desire or affection. Rayane leaned against the table. But you feel them. She turned and nodded slowly. I do, especially now. He took a breath. So what happens next? You hide here forever? Valari's expression changed. Her eyes darkened, not in anger, but in pain. I can't stay long. The ones who chased me will come. I stole something valuable from them. If they find me here, they will burn your forest. They will destroy everything. Rayan's jaw tightened. Then we'll make sure they don't find you. You would risk your life for me, she asked, voice gentle. Like she didn't quite believe it. I already have, he replied. And I'd do it again. Valari walked up to him slowly. She was close now, close enough that he could smell her scent, like starlight and warm rain. She reached up and brushed her fingers across his cheek. You speak with such certainty, she whispered, like a warrior who's never held a blade. He caught her hand gently, holding it against his chest. Maybe I don't need a blade. Maybe I just need you. She blinked, surprised by his words. Her lips parted, as if she wanted to say something but couldn't. Outside, the wind picked up, brushing through the trees. A gust of air swept through the cracks in the wooden cabin. It made her shiver. Rain pulled his coat from the chair and wrapped it around her shoulders. Her eyes widened slightly at the gesture, then softened. Human, she said quietly. Your body is so fragile, and yet your heart is heavier than any weapon I've known. Rayan leaned closer, his voice low. You said what's between. Your legs isn't a weapon, unless I make it one. But I don't want to hurt you. I want to understand you. Valari's eyes glowed brighter for a second. Then come closer. Understand me with your breath, with your hands, with your truth. Rain's heart pounded in his chest. Slowly, he brought his face near hers. Their foreheads touched. Just that. No kiss, no hunger. Just warmth, connection, trust. Valari closed her eyes and sighed against his skin. And in that soft silence, something changed between them. Something gentle, but powerful. She wasn't just a visitor from the stars anymore. She was becoming something more. A secret he wanted to keep. A flame he didn't want to lose. A future he hadn't imagined, until now. The forest had grown quiet, unnaturally so. Rain stood at the edge of the clearing, peering between tall pines. The birds weren't singing. No branches swayed. Even the usual hum of wind through the leaves had stilled. Behind him, Valari stepped, out of the cabin now wearing one of his old hooded jackets. It hung loosely on her frame, making her look even more delicate. Her lavender eyes were alert, scanning the trees with tension. They're near, she whispered. I feel them, Rayan clenched his fists. How many? 3, maybe 4. Scouts, she said. But more will follow if they don't return. He looked back toward the cabin, then at her. Is there any way to stop them? Not unless. You want to see what I've been hiding, she said softly. Rain raised a brow. Show me. Valari hesitated, then nodded. She pulled back the jacket and slid up the side of her silver garment, revealing a strange, glowing mark along her thigh. It pulsed softly, like a heartbeat of light. This is a fusion core, she explained. It gives me strength, speed, and energy to survive. But if used, as a weapon, it could level this entire forest. Rayan stared. Then why haven't you used it? Because if I do, I'll be tracked instantly. The signal will spread across galaxies, and I'll never be free. Rayan exhaled. So we need another way. Valari stepped closer to him. You've already given me something they never could. Kindness. Touch. If I lose that now, her voice cracked, just barely. I don't want to be alone again. You won't be, Rain said, reaching for her hand. He squeezed it tightly. We'll figure this out together. Suddenly a faint hum buzzed through the air. Valari's ears perked, her body tense. They're cloaked, moving fast. Then we stay inside, he said, guiding her toward the cabin. We'll wait for them. No. She stopped him at the door. I'll draw them out. They want me, not you. Rain stepped in front of her, chest rising. I'm not hiding while you face them alone. She stared at him, eyes shimmering. You're not just a man, you're something rare, he smiled. I'm human, that's all. She stepped forward and placed her palm on his chest. That's enough. They locked eyes, just for a moment. But in that second, the air between them shimmered like heat. Then Valari leaned in and pressed her lips softly to his. It wasn't rushed or desperate. It was slow, searching. A kiss that spoke of fear and trust at once. Rain melted into it, his arms wrapping around her waist, his fingers finding the edge of her silver fabric. Her body was warm, yet strangely light, like touching starlight itself. Her kiss deepened, lips soft and inviting. She trembled in his arms, not from cold, but from something far more human. I've never done this before, she whispered against his mouth. Me neither, he lied gently. She smiled against his lips. Liar. They broke apart just as a low hiss filled the air. A figure stepped into the clearing, tall, black-armored, and carrying a long weapon that pulsed with violet light. Valari's smile vanished. They've found me. Rayan stepped forward instinctively, placing himself between her and the alien intruder. The figure raised its weapon. Target acquired. Subject Valari, return to custody or be neutralized. Rayan shouted. She's not going with you. The armored being hesitated. Human. This does not concern you. Rayan's heart pounded. It does now. Valari's hand reached forward, wrapping gently around his wrist. She stepped beside him. I told you. We transfer energy through touch. Let me give you some. Light flared where their skin met. Rayan felt a sudden surge, like fire in his veins. Strength rushed into him, and his vision sharpened. His limbs felt lighter, his heart braver. The figure moved. Rayan didn't think. He lunged forward, dodging the blast that scorched the dirt. With an unexpected burst of speed, he tackled the intruder, knocking the weapon aside. Valari raised her hand. A pulse of light shot from her palm, disabling the weapon completely. The armored being hissed, stunned. Rayan stood over it, panting. You okay? He asked her. Valari nodded, eyes wide. You just fought a Lascari soldier. I had help, Rayan said, smiling through the sweat. She stepped closer, cupped his face, and kissed him again. Harder this time, more certain, more desperate. Her lips tasted like starlight and smoke. You're insane, she breathed. But I want more of you. His voice dropped. Then take me. Their foreheads rested together again, breath mingling. Time slowed. Despite the chaos outside, this moment was theirs. But the soldier stirred. Valari glanced at the forest. More will come. We must leave tonight. Rain nodded. Then let's pack. As she turned to enter the cabin, Rain glanced down at the defeated soldier. For a moment, he realized something. He wasn't just a man caught in a wild storm. He was becoming part of something bigger, something dangerous, something beautiful, and he was ready for whatever came next. The moon had barely risen when Rain and Valari slipped away into the woods. They carried only a single pack, supplies, a stolen energy cell, and the strange half-glowing cube Valari had hidden in the floorboards. Her steps were quiet, her senses sharp. Rain followed close, every brush of her fingers against his arm a small comfort. They didn't speak much at first. The silence between them wasn't awkward. It was thick with tension, thick with everything they'd said, and everything they hadn't yet dared to. After an hour of hiking, they reached an overhang nestled behind thick trees and vines. A small cave, long abandoned, shielded from above by rock and root. "This should keep us hidden for now," Valari whispered, brushing moss aside from the entrance. Rayan ducked inside behind her. The cave was cool, dry. He exhaled and dropped the pack, rubbing his shoulders. "You really think they'll keep chasing you?" Valari sat down, legs folded beneath her, hair glowing faintly in the dark. "They won't stop. Not until they think I'm disposed of." "That's a terrible way to talk about someone." He sat beside her. "You're more than just some fugitive." Her eyes softened. "You keep saying things that make me feel seen." Rayan grinned. "Well, it's not hard. You kind of glow." She gave a soft laugh, and for a moment, it was easy to forget they were being hunted. Then her voice quieted. "There's something I didn't tell you, about why I came to Earth." Rayan turned toward her. "I figured there had to be more." Valari traced the glowing mark on her leg. "My species, we don't experience emotions like humans. We're bred for survival, not connection. But I was built differently. My creators didn't know I'd become so sensitive." "Sensitive," Rayan echoed. "I started feeling, dreaming, craving closeness." She looked up at him. "They called it corruption. I called it freedom." Rayan leaned closer, heart pounding again, not from fear this time, but from the steady, magnetic pull between them. "So you ran." "I had to," she whispered. "I found a signal from Earth, a planet full of feeling, of chaos and love and choice. I wanted to know what it was like to be wanted." Rayan swallowed. "And now?" Valari's voice dropped. "Now I know, because of you." His breath hitched. She reached up, fingers grazing his jawline. "When I touched you the first time, it wasn't just to share energy. I was curious. But then I felt your heat, your heartbeat, your reaction." He blushed faintly. "Yeah, well, you were straddling me." Her lips curled into a sly smile. "And you were hard beneath me." Rayan coughed, ears turning red. "Okay, fair." She leaned in slowly, pressing her lips to his neck this time. Soft, lingering, tasting his skin like she wanted to memorize. I've never been intimate before, Rain, but I want to know everything about you. Every inch, every sound you make when I touch you." He was breathing faster now, her words igniting something deep in him. "Valari, I don't just want to be safe," she whispered. "I want to be yours." Rain pulled her closer, their bodies aligning naturally, perfectly. "Then stay with me, no matter what happens." Valari climbed into his lap, her legs curling around him. "I'll never leave you." They kissed again, this time with hunger, with purpose. Her hands explored under his shirt, mapping his skin like a cartographer of warmth. His fingers tangled in her hair, drawing soft gasps from her lips. Every movement, every breath between them was building, faster, deeper. But just before they lost themselves fully, Valari stopped. Her forehead pressed to his, her chest rising fast. "Not yet. When we do this, I want it to be more than survival. I want it to be something I remember for the rest of my life." Rayan cupped her face. "You already are." They sat there, hearts racing, tangled in limbs and promises. Outside, a faint hum of alien tech passed overhead, but the cave's shielding held. Inside, the only sound was the quiet beat of two hearts, finding rhythm with each other. Valari rested, her head against his shoulder. "When I was made, I didn't know what I was missing. I thought I was broken. But maybe I was just waiting for you." Rain held her close, whispering back, "Then I'm glad you found me." Night deepened. The world outside grew colder, but inside the cave a strange warmth bloomed, gentle, real, and stronger than either of them had expected. Tomorrow they would run again. Tomorrow the hunt would continue. But tonight, in this small hidden place on Earth, they had each other. And that was enough. Dawn cracked the horizon with a streak of soft gold, painting the forest in pale light. Rayan blinked awake first, the warmth of Valari curled against his chest, still lingering like a dream. Her arm lay over him, fingers loosely holding his shirt. For a few moments, he watched her sleep. Peaceful, delicate, and impossibly beautiful. Her silver lashes shimmered faintly, her breathing calm. He smiled and traced a gentle finger along her jawline. But then, a low, vibrating hum cut through the— "Quiet!" Valari's eyes snapped open. Rain sat up, heart dropping. "What is it?" "They found us," she said, voice flat with sudden urgency. "A drone just passed the perimeter. They're closing in." Rain stood, grabbing the bag. "Then let's go." "No." Valari rose, calm but fierce. "We won't make it running. Not this time." He looked at her, confused. "Then what?" She stepped into the light, filtering through the cave opening, her body slowly glowing brighter. "I've been holding back. I had to. But now—" Her eyes locked with his, something ancient and powerful swirling inside them. "You gave me the strength I didn't know I had. If they want to fight, then I'll show them what it means to feel." Rain stepped forward. "I'm staying with you." Valari reached back, taking his hand. "Then stand beside me. But don't be afraid, no matter what I become." Moments later, the sky split with a loud crack. A sleek obsidian craft hovered above the treetops. Its sharp edges shimmered with menace, panels opening along the underside. Then came the voice. "Subject Valari 7. Surrender now. The experiment ends here." Valari stepped out from the cave completely, her hair lifting like strands of flame, her skin pulsing with energy. "I'm not your subject anymore." The ship opened fire, but before the beam could reach them, Valari raised her hand, and it froze mid-air, rippling like liquid light. Rain gasped. "You're stopping energy?" Valari's voice deepened, yet stayed soft. "I'm not stopping it, Rayan. I'm changing it." She twisted her wrist, and the beam turned, a flash of gold and violet that struck the craft, knocking it sideways into a tree with a violent hiss. Another shot fired from the side. This one aimed directly at Rayan. Valari didn't hesitate. She threw herself in front of him, catching the blast with her entire body. "Valari!" he screamed, catching her as she staggered. She smiled faintly, energy crackling through her. "That weapon, it hit me where I'm strongest." Rayan's heart was pounding. "You're insane." She laughed breathlessly, clutching his shirt. "No, I'm in love." Before Rayan could answer, more drones dropped from the clouds. Dozens, all targeting them at once. Valari turned, and her entire body began to shift. The markings on her skin glowed gold now, not blue. Her shape stayed the same, but her presence— it changed. She floated. Waves of heat rippled from her like a second sun. "Rayan, I need you to say it." "Say what?" he asked, shielding his eyes from her blinding form. "That I belong here. That I'm more than what they made me." Rayan stepped forward, reached up, and cupped her face, even as power poured off her like a storm. "You're Valari. You're mine. And you belong here with me." The moment the words left his mouth, the sky shattered. At least it looked like it. The air itself cracked with light. Valari screamed, not in pain, but in pure release. A pulse exploded outward. Every drone in the air dropped. The hovering ship spun out of control and vanished into the trees. Then silence. Valari floated slowly down, her glow dimming to a soft warmth. Rain caught her. "You okay?" She opened her eyes, exhausted but smiling. "I'm free." He kissed her, full of adrenaline and joy, hands tight around her waist. "I thought I was saving you, but you saved me." She rested her forehead against his. "What's between my legs isn't a weapon, unless someone tries to control it. But with you, it's love, it's trust, it's power we choose to share." He laughed softly. "And here I thought it was just a sexy alien thing," she smirked. "Oh, it's also that." They lay down together again, this time under the open sky, the forest alive with new calm. No more fear, no more hiding. Valari curled into his arms, fingers twining with his. "Now, we start over. A real life. On Earth." Ryan nodded. "You, me, and no more ships crashing the party." Her lips brushed his one more time. "Unless it's a honeymoon ship," they laughed, kissed again, and let the future begin. Under a human sky, an alien heart had finally found where it belonged. With him. Forever. The end.